What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Breakdown Sportscast. I'm your host, Kory Willis. Glad that you all are here with us again. We got a lot to talk about, of course, in the world of college football. We had the conference championship games. They just concluded, so all of those have now wrapped up. And now we can actually talk about what's next, which is the bowl games for the season. So, we hope you guys had a great weekend, and hope you guys are having a great start to your week. So, as always, we appreciate you guys listening in on the show. We are on many different streaming platforms, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Amazon Audible, iHeartRadio, and many other streaming platforms as well. So we very much appreciate you guys listening in, and feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the show. It definitely helps us out. It helps us know what we're doing and how we can improve for the future. As always, I'm here with my good friend and co-host. He is Chris Bolton. What's going on, Chris?
What's going on, Kory? How we feeling?
Man, feeling good. We just wrapped up championship week, and now everything is set now.
So it's a good day unless you're a Florida State Seminoles fan.
Oh,
yeah.
Look,
or a Georgia Bulldog fan, but everybody else, I think is feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, I think so. I think as long as you're not in Tallahassee, Florida, I think you're having a swell day.
Oh man, we might as well get straight to it, huh?
I think so. I think so. So yeah, we just had the college football playoff selection show, Selection Sunday as they call it. And
there's only one Selection Sunday, Kory. that's a college hoop selection Sunday.
Oh yeah, you are right. You are right. But yeah, we pretty much on Sunday we pretty much got a chance to see which teams are heading into the college football playoffs. And now they are set, of course. We now know 1 through 4, and it has come with some controversy, of course. But I will definitely think, I personally think that the committee got this right. Michigan is 1, followed by Washington at 2, 3, Texas, and 4 is the Alabama Crimson Tide. So I think that they got it right, of course. I think these 4 teams are your best 4 teams, despite what everyone else says. And we'll see what happens this bowl season. But what do you think about the selections, Chris?
Man, oh man. I think the committee has opened up a can of worms. I mean, this is the makings of the BCS computers. This is something they would have done. This is why we got rid of the BCS. For real. I mean, think about it. Remember when Auburn, an undefeated Auburn team, didn't play in the national championship, but Oklahoma with 1 loss? This was way back in the day, kids. This is years ago. Y'all probably listening like, BCS. Yeah, there was a thing called the BCS that decided what 2 teams played in national championship. But you had it was Oklahoma was in, Auburn didn't make it. And then and USC ended up putting a beat down on them as well. So USC got the win, but we didn't get to see USC and Auburn, and that's the game that everybody wanted to see. But this is something kind of similar to that. If you could fact check me, Kory, and see what year that was when that happened, I believe it might have been like 2003.
Let's see.
I think when it happened.
The Auburn in Oklahoma.
Yeah. I believe it was 2002 or 2003, around then.
Let's see.
But man,
let's see.
I struggle. I really don't like what I understand what the committee was trying to do, but I don't like it. Why are we playing the games? Why do we play the games if a team can go undefeated in a Power 5 conference, win its conference championship game?
It's a good question.
Schedule a team that was supposed to be a top 10 team all season, projected to be a top 10 power and compete for a national championship, and beat them on a neutral site, just to be bypassed when it's all said and done and left out of the big dance, left out of the college football playoff.
Yeah, it's it does come with its own controversy and dialogue too. I won't shy away from the discussion at all, because it has been a topic, of course, since the rankings were announced. By the way, Chris, that was in 2004.
2004. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I knew it was around that time period. Okay, yeah. 2004.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's this reminds me of something very similar. I mean, yes, Florida State is without Jordan Travis. Yes, they probably you struggle to think they would win a playoff game, but that doesn't matter. In my eyes, I feel like you reward teams for what they've done on the field. And if it was up to me, Michigan makes it, Washington makes it, Florida State makes it, and Texas makes it. I know it sounds wild, sounds crazy. I wouldn't have had Alabama in. And I know Alabama fans are probably shaking the table right now. Like, how could you leave us out?
The pitchforks.
The pitchforks are primed and ready. Everybody has it in hand. But Florida State went undefeated. Everybody loves to talk about SEC this, SEC that. When universally, we've all said all season long, it's been a down season for the SEC. So don't give me that, we won the SEC championship, we won the SEC. Don't give me that. Because that doesn't stand this season. When we've said all year that the Pac-12 and it has been a better conference. That it's a down season for the SEC. Like, you can't give me that argument this year. And then when you break down the one-loss teams, Texas holds the tiebreaker by beating you on your home field. So I would have Texas slotted over Alabama. That's how I would do it. I understand the committee says we want to put the 4 best teams on the field, and this is what's going to make for the most entertaining playoff. But now we have blurred the lines between what's right and what's fair, and now we're getting subjective, and it's about who's the best, and what's going to give us the most entertainment and bring in the most eyeballs and money. That's what it's all of. That's what it is now. We just got to keep it a band. That's what it is now.
No, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, that's pretty much where we're at with this. For me, I look at it as, I'm giving the committee a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, mainly because I watched that ACC championship game. And look, I know Florida State is undefeated, and that should not be downplayed at all. Like, they had an undefeated season. They They had their schedule, and they took care of business every single week. And you could say they should be rewarded for that. But I watched that ACC championship game, Chris.
It wasn't pretty.
It wasn't pretty. I just started thinking about, like, what if this was a semifinal game? This would be terrible. Like, the question I have to ask people is this: Can this Florida State team, with the offense that they have now without Jordan Travis, can they score the same amount of points as Washington, as a Michigan, as of Texas?
We would only need to let them trot out on the field and find out.
I get that.
That's the only. That's the only way we gonna know.
I can't fathom. I get that, but I just can't fathom them just like, oh man, they found a rhythm. Like it's like they never even dropped off. Like, it was different because I know people were talking about Ohio State with Cardale Jones when he was a backup, and he came in and took Ohio State to the playoffs that year, and they inevitably won the national championship against Oregon. I understand that, but there's a difference between Cardale Jones and Tay Rodemaker, who we would let's say if Florida State would have got in, we would assume he would be ready. But let's say if he wasn't ready, I don't think they would.
I hear what you're saying, but also, why do we play the games? Like,
that's a good question too.
Why do we play what are we doing? We're wasting time. You know what? Don't even have a season. Whoever is the 4 teams we think are the best at the preseason, just go ahead and slot them into the playoff.
Just be done with it. Like,
just be done with it. Just be done with it. And I'll take it a step further. If we're going to have the 4 best teams, can't nobody here tell me Georgia is not one of the 4 best teams. Why are they not in the playoff then?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a committee that talks about 1 losses don't hurt your chances. I'm just saying. 1 losses don't. 1 loss teams.
Georgia went undefeated all year, and you lose a close game to Alabama, and now you don't make the playoff. Do you think Georgia beats Washington?
Say that again.
Do you think Georgia beats Washington? Who's the better team, Georgia or Washington?
I think Georgia is.
Then we should have 2 undefeated teams not in the playoff then.
Yeah.
This is the precedent they set. They jacked themselves up by doing this. I mean, because if we're going to be real, the 4 best teams are Michigan, Alabama, Texas, Georgia, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to knock Washington and what they've done this season because I feel like they deserve to be in the playoff. But going off the words of the committee, the 4 best teams are those 4 that I just listed.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I think this was always inevitable at some point before we got to the 12-team playoff that we're going to get to next year. Like, this was always a what if scenario. Like, hey, what if you have a team that's undefeated, lose a quarterback, what happens there? And this was a thing that when the whole conversation started with having a committee and stuff, it was a thing at one point that injuries could factor in into a team's position with the playoffs. And at the time I could understand that because like look at it now, like Florida State is a different team without Jordan Travis. Like I think we can all see that. But you still, as what you said, and I agree to it too, why do we play the games? You still have to go out there and play the games. To me, I'm going to say this, and I might piss some people off listening to this show. I don't think, knowing what we know about Michigan, knowing about the whole cheating scandal, I don't think they should be in there. If anything, put Florida State in there. They've done everything the right way. Like, look, they
as far as we know,
as far as we know, they have done everything the right way. They have handled their schedule as best as possible, even through the injury of Jordan Travis. They've taken every challenge that's been in front of them, and they've went to work.
That's true.
And they're undefeated still.
That is true. That is true.
I mean,
I will say.
Tell me when I'm telling lies, like CM Punk.
You're not telling a lie at all. I will say though, I will be rooting for Michigan because I want chaos at this point. You know, give it to the. I want the team that has everybody rooting against them. I want them to stick it to the Big Ten. The Big Ten neglected them and decided to punish them mid-season before we fully have completed an investigation. And I don't think that's fair to the players. I don't think that's a precedent you want to set as a conference, that you are inflicting discipline on something that has happened before in the middle of the season. You want to have a coach sit games, suspend a coach. I've never seen that before. I never heard of that. And I don't agree with it. But that's the world we're in now. College football is going down a tricky path, man. There's some stuff going on with the CFP and how some things have been handled by the Big Ten. I love this sport. I love this game. I love the pageantry, and I love everything that comes with college football. But we have to be real careful this next decade, in the next 10 years, of how this game is handled. Because there's a world soon where Ohio State and Michigan can play each other. I'm going off on a tangent, but they can end up playing each other 3 times in the season.
Yeah.
That's overkill.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that makes the game so special is because they meet that one time. And you might have the rare circumstance where it's 2 because of the playoff.
Right.
But that one time, that's about to change. So, but yeah. Yeah, man.
We're struggling.
I'll be watching.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I'll be watching the games, but I don't agree with what the committee did, and I'm curious to see. Football has a way of bringing scenarios back around.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see when the time comes when an undefeated Alabama or an undefeated Georgia or an undefeated Ohio State has a serious, massive injury to a key player, possibly a quarterback in the future, if this holds consistent.
Yeah.
Because this is the precedent you done set.
Yeah. No, I want to see that too. I really want to see that too. Even in this 12-team playoff. Mm-hmm. You know, are you the same team? Because now you have to, like, forget having to find the 4 best teams. You got to find the 12 best teams.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if we're struggling to make it make sense with 4 teams, well, then we got a problem.
Yeah, because there's going to come a time where your 12th team could be a 3-loss team.
Yeah.
Like right now. Let's say there was a 12-team playoff right now. You telling me Arizona isn't one of the 12 best teams in the nation?
Oh, definitely. like hands down. Like if they're not in the conversation, then we got some problems. Hell,
And
I'm trying to figure out why they 14 right now.
they are a 3-loss team. Do they make the playoff or not? And I think if they were to match up right now, probably against Florida State, they would beat Florida State. So, just how sticky and consistent are your rankings? That's all. It's they have opened Pandora's box has been opened, Kory.
Yeah, and it was inevitable.
It was.
It was inevitable. I just look at it honestly, where I understand why you would look at the top 4 teams where you're looking at them now be in there that way, but in terms of Florida State, I think the committee, while they got this right to me, I think if you really wanted to set a precedent for the future, Michigan should not be in there because of the cheat scandal, and Florida State should be allowed to be in the playoff.
I can see that. I just, man, I just think this thing is all kinds of jacked up and twisted. Yeah. We need Thanos. You watch Marvel movies, Kory? We need
Yes.
Thanos to come to snap his fingers, collect all the Infinity Stones, and then snap his fingers and reset things back to when the Big Ten didn't have a conference championship game. The Pac-12 stays intact, and they don't have a conference championship game where you play 9 conference games, where the SEC isn't about to be just saturated with teams in the league, and everybody can play the rivalries that we've seen forever. I need my old college football back.
Yeah,
things were a lot simpler. You remember when the crazy this how this is being handled? Honestly, is even worse than I believe it was 2007, Kory, when the 2-loss LSU team made it to the national championship game. I believe it was 2007 when that happened.
Yeah,
when
it was 2007.
Yeah. This right here is even wilder than that. In all honesty,
and that was wild.
It might not seem like that. That was wild then. That was one ridiculous college football season. I mean, that is stamped in my memory. It was so many foolishness, so much craziness that went down that conference championship weekend. To get us to the point where we were trying to figure out who the hell was going to play in the national championship game. But this is early in the tenure of the college football playoff. Like, we're still, you know what I'm saying? College football had been going on forever. And we got to a situation where in 2007, you had LSU make it to that game with 2 losses. This is 9th season of the college football playoff. I believe it started 2014 was when it started, with Mississippi State being the first team ranked number 1 in the CFP.
Yeah.
So this is early in the installment of this new measure.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the precedents you said. I don't see how you can be consistent moving forward when it comes to this. I don't see how. So that's why I say this is a pivotal moment, I feel like, in college football, in this sport, and how the postseason is determined moving forward. And I'm just so curious to see. I don't want to fast forward in time. I want to watch it play out over the years.
Mm-hmm.
But I really feel like we're going to be looking back at this decision made on Sunday and really be like, I don't know if that was the best for the sport, because we really have put aside what it means to win your games for the sake of subjective. I think this team is better, even though they have lost. So that's all.
Yeah,
That ends my TED talk.
I think once we entered 2014, once we entered that season, Chris, we knew that this was going to be a new, fresh out of the box system that we all had to get accustomed to teams, fan bases, even the people running it. It had to understand and actually do their due diligence and make this system a credible system for the sport. But over the years, like, we've seen everything come to play with this playoff format. And hey, we're sitting here as we're recording this on December 4th, 2023. We're now questioning now, like, should this thing even be something we're looking at going forward from decades to come?
I got one more point. If this is what we're going to do, we might as well just bring back the BCS. Bring back the computers and just let the computers decide who are the 4 best teams, or in this case, moving forward years to come, who are the 12 best teams.
Hey, look, I'm not even going to argue down with you on that one. I'm kind of on your side at this point about that. I'd be in favor of it.
We might as well, because at least the computers, you didn't like what the computers did, but they made these kind of decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole reason we got rid of the BCS was to get rid of screwing over teams that went undefeated, or, you know what I'm saying, that won their conference, that went undefeated, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, we
what do you know?
More human element.
Who would have thought? Human bias does creep in, and you gotta have Alabama in over Florida State now. You gotta have Texas in over Florida State. I'm just saying, like, it's funny what happens in time when you got the 2 big money makers in college football. And I know Florida State's a big program, but they ain't that. They are a blue blood, and they are a well-known, nationally recognized university entity in college football. But come on, Bama and Texas, those are 2 massive, the top 2, arguably the top 2 college football brands. I mean, so it's quite convenient that they both make it. Not saying that they don't have a case, but I'm gonna look it up. But I'm just curious what the computers would have decided. And instead of letting humans choose, let's just leave it up to the computers, to Vegas, to mathematics. Let's just leave it up to the computers to choose, because the whole point of us having humans make the decisions was to stop screwing over the undefeated teams.
Yeah, yeah, it would definitely take I guess, the flashy debate out of it because from a human element side to picking these teams, we're always looking at who's the flashiest. Despite we got no losses, one loss or two losses, who's the flashiest? When really we just really want to know what does your record say? Stack up all the games you played. What are you looking like on the field? If your resume is good enough, you're in. At least, the computer somewhat did that in the BCS era. But, now you're allowing teams that are pretty much cheating against their opponents in, and you're ranking them number one. You're not giving credit to undefeated teams, despite what happens to their best players. Something at least needs to be done. That's just my thought. That's my interpretation.
It needs to be, but I feel confident in saying that it won't be.
Oh yeah, I understand it too.
So, I mean, it is what it is. We're going to talk about it for a few days, and then everybody's going to turn around and be excited and hyped up that we get to see these matchups because nobody wanted to see Florida State. The only people in the world who wanted Florida State in the CFP were Florida State fans. Now,
and Michigan. Did you see that video?
Yeah, that's epic.
I mean, Michigan saw Alabama pop up. They were not happy.
Oh man,
These people were like, "Oh gosh, I can see my future. I can see Milrow running 40, 50-yard runs on us."
That's going to be very interesting. That ain't Kyle McCord sitting back there at quarterback, not taking off.
Not at all.
But yeah, something needs to be done. I don't think it will be done, and people just gotta get ready, for when it's, I don't know, when it's like Tennessee, or who else could it be, or Clemson, or I don't know. You have the random SEC school that has an amazing year, like a Ole Miss or South Carolina. When you have that season and you're like 12, 13 range, and you get left out because there's already 3 other SEC schools in the CFP. I mean, it's only a matter of time before it happens. Like that's what's going to be next, man. Like people are going to be. It's going to be tough to really. I don't see how they're going to be able to like narrow it down to like 12 teams in the future. I'm going off on a tangent right here, but this season it was. Could you name more than like 8 teams? Maybe I think maybe 8 teams have a legitimate shot of winning.
Oh man, that's a good question. I mean, let's go ahead.
Yeah, you got the 4 that are in now. Nobody's going to say Florida State because they're without Jordan Travis.
I mean,
Oregon's still a team that Vegas likes. Georgia. So those are 6 teams. Ohio State 7, and I'm loosely saying Ohio State.
I mean, Missouri, I think, will be a really good team in a 12-team.
But do we really think Missouri would run the table? I think it's becoming.
They could.
They say they want the best teams in, but there's going to be some seasons where the like this season, where the number 9 team in the nation really ain't measuring up to like the number 2, number 1 team in the nation at all.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just adding randomness to this. It's going to become soon more and more like the NCAA tournament, where you're not necessarily getting the best team to win the national championship.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to have the hottest, or the team that can string along some wins.
Well, that's what they're banking on. They're banking on, hey, let's see which hottest team can make it in. But will it just be a carbon copy of what we've been seeing the last several years, where it doesn't matter? The top 4 teams are usually going to be one of the ones that are strong enough to survive this.
Right. You would think, but the more games you add, and we know any well, any given Saturday or any given day, any given college football playoff game, anything can happen. So while you worried about trying to quote unquote get the best team in, when you turn around and make this a 12-team playoff, you're adding a whole lot of randomness to this. So it's only a matter of time too before that 12 seed knocks off that 1 seed or whatever, however it's going to be set up. You know what I'm saying? Just like we got 16 seeds be number 1 seeds in the college basketball tournament. It's only a matter of time before the underdog turns around and gets hot and wins the natty. But I'm done. I'm really done with my TED talk now. I'm good. I'm ready to talk about these games, some of these matchups.
Awesome. So yeah, it's a lot, but nonetheless, we're here. At this point in time, so.
I'm talking all this noise, but I'll be watching the games.
They got you hook, line, and sinker. Just
I'm
like
talking
me.
all this mess, but I'll be watching Michigan, Bama. I'll be watching Texas, Washington. Sure will.
Oh man, yeah. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be watching it too. I mean, look, this is the last year of the 4 best team of the 14 format.
Have they put the lines out for that game yet? For the games, because I would not be shocked if the lower seeded teams were both the favorites in those matchups.
So let's see. Right now, the spread is for Alabama versus Michigan. That's going to be the Rose Bowl game.
Michigan by 1.5.
Yeah.
And then Texas 4-point favorites. I knew Texas was going to be the favorite in that game.
Yeah.
Washington still don't matter what you do. And nobody's sold. Vegas is not sold on you, Washington. Doesn't matter what you did to Oregon.
I know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But yeah, that's pretty much where the lines are for both of these games. I'm looking at Alabama to beat Michigan, beat them down pretty badly.
Yeah, I can see how that happens. I don't know if Michigan has the speed. I know it's so cliche, but I really don't know if they have the speed to hang with Alabama. They're gonna have to make this game just a grinder. Limit the possessions and play keep away. Keep that thing. The best way to keep Jalen Milroe from running all over you is to keep Jalen Milroe on the bench, on the sidelines.
I would think that would be wise.
Granted, Michigan has a very solid front 7. But they haven't seen the athleticism at the quarterback position that Milroe presents. And we saw how much of a struggle he was for Georgia. I think Michigan's defense is built a little better than Georgia to handle him because Michigan's been extremely stout against the run this season. But Alabama catches them in man coverage and Milroe gets a full head of steam, it can be ugly. It can turn into a 30, 40-yard run very quickly with him. So, yeah, I would probably, if I had to pick today, something tells me, as much as I would like to see Michigan win, that Bama probably would win. So if I was picking today, I probably would go Bama myself too. And I would also pick Texas against Washington.
That's what I'm thinking. I honestly think we're gonna see a rematch from earlier this year, Texas and Alabama.
That just made me mad. It just made me mad.
I think we're gonna see it.
That just made me so mad, Kory. Make college football great again. You remember when if you met in the regular season, we knew. What year was this? 2005? When Ohio State and Texas played at the Shoe. When Vince Young pulled up at Ohio State, and Ohio State was alternating quarterbacks before Troy Smith took the job. We knew whoever lost that game, they weren't going to the national championship. That was 2006, actually. It was 2006, yeah. Because was it 05? And the national championship game was on, I think it was the year 2005, where the national championship happened like at the turn of the new year in 06.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah. But we knew whoever won that game, they were going to be in prime position to make it to the national championship. Whoever lost, they weren't going to make it. Regular season games mattered. Now, we're probably going to get a rematch of Texas and Alabama is a possibility. I don't like it. I want regular season games to matter. I want it to mean something if you lose.
Yeah, and look, it doesn't make it any better. Texas, OU in the SEC starting 2024. You know Texas and Bama are going to be playing each other probably on a regular basis on the schedule each year. You got this 12-team playoff now as a thing.
And we're getting away from divisions. So
getting away from divisions.
There's a world where, similar to what Ohio State and Michigan in the near future in the Big Ten, where they can play each other in the regular season and turn around and play each other again in the conference championship game. It just puts a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Yes. Man. But
hey,
it is what it is.
Life of college football nowadays.
Right? It is what it is. Yep. This is our new normal.
This is our new normal. I know people don't want it, but this is where it's at. Unfortunately.
Yeah. It is, man. This is what the powers that be have provided for us. I mean, there's a lot of money invested in this sport now. So
yeah.
But we got some good other matchups.
Yeah. What do you think about Oregon taking on Liberty? We had to
Boy.
get that best group of 5 team in there, and Liberty made it at number 23. So
Yeah. I think it's a nice story. Liberty made it in the game. I'll watch the game and hope for the best. But there is a world where Liberty wins that game, maybe just because Oregon is just so mad at themselves and so over it that they don't show up. There's a world that Bo Nix doesn't play in the game, but I feel like Bo will play.
if he does, it would be interesting.
Yeah. I think Oregon should do what I thought they were going to do to Washington. There's no excuse for them to not do that again to Liberty. No offense to Liberty and what they built and what they have going on, but Oregon should beat them down. Mm-hmm. The spread is 15 points for a reason.
Yeah.
That's a huge spread for a game that's supposed to be as a New Year's 6, you know what I'm saying, one of your big January bowl games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Bo Nix plays. Hats off to him. I think he's definitely somebody that wants to lead by example and finish things the right way, and really send off the Ducks, the Ducks fans, in a positive way, going forward, and just making sure that the program that he's been a part of the last few years is at least excited about the future, happy for him, happy for this team, despite them not making the playoffs. He's a guy that wants to make sure that he's competing at all times and wants to do things the right way. So if he does play, won't be surprised by it, but it'll definitely heighten up the excitement of the Fiesta Bowl. To see him play one more time in the uniform. So
then you got the game that you ever heard the expression? Was it a face only a mother could love?
Yes.
we got a game where two teams that only their fan bases could love this matchup. I don't know if the world's going to be watching this game at all, with Iowa taking on Tennessee in the Citrus Bowl. Boy, the offense would be at a premium.
Look, this game, I can't call it. You know what? I can't call it.
I can't call it.
Did you notice over the weekend the Chargers and the New England Patriots score?
That disgusting game?
Yeah. Yes. I wouldn't be surprising that this game becomes that same score in the end.
It wouldn't shock me either. It wouldn't shock me either. We know they don't know what offense is at Iowa. I don't know if they recruit offensively. I don't think that's a priority in Iowa. They just want you to block and tackle.
That's pretty much
now,
it.
What you do with said blocking, that's up to you. But they don't care.
No, they don't care.
The offense is inept. I don't know if they practice that side of football in Iowa. Is that bad, people? And yet they still somehow found their way in the Big Ten championship game, and here they are now in the Citrus Bowl.
Yeah.
But Tennessee should win that game by default. But I won't. I won't be watching it because Tennessee has had their struggles on offense too this year.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what to tell you about this game, folks. It's It's gonna be a weird game.
Yes, it could be entertaining just off the fact that you don't know what's going to happen. Kinda, we don't know what Tennessee team will show up.
No.
There's a world where Tennessee can beat the brakes. I mean, embarrass Iowa. If this was last year's Tennessee team playing against Iowa, ooh. But this isn't. Tennessee has had some up and down games offensively.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be close, or that SEC talent could show itself, and they could run Iowa off the field.
They very well could.
So it's interesting in that aspect, but ooh man, if you've seen both of these teams play throughout the season, this ain't the game that's gonna be on my radar that day.
Oh my gosh, no, not at all, not at all. But yeah, I can't wait for that one. Ole Miss and Penn State feels weird.
Very weird.
I think that's just a weird matchup. Of course, I would have liked to see Ole Miss probably play Ohio State, maybe.
That would have been nice. I feel like I don't want to call Ole Miss pretenders, but I feel like it's the battle of the two teams that want to be in the elite class but aren't.
Mm-hmm.
And they're highly ranked teams, but they aren't that good. But then again, nobody is that good in college football this year.
It really isn't. No one's definitively just beating down on people every week, and
the team that was just got beaten their conference championship game. Oregon was like one of the more consistent teams this season, and then they just got thumped by Washington, who has struggled in the last 5 weeks this year to get wins and to escape their opponents.
Yeah. Look, their resume doesn't lie. Their resume does not lie at all. It's just one of those weird years, of course. But yeah, Ole Miss, Penn State, Peach Bowl. I'm going to lean towards Ole Miss winning this game, just because I don't know what to expect with Drew Allard. I mean,
because Ole Miss has the competent offense.
Pretty much. That's all I can say.
They've been able to, to Ole Miss's credit, they lost to Georgia and Alabama this year.
Mm-hmm.
Those are their two losses. I mean, that's a lot of people's losses, but that's their only two losses.
Right.
So I feel confident that they have an offense that can get big explosive plays, get down the field. I wonder how many points will be scored in this game too, though. Because it could be a little ugly. It could end up being a lower scoring game, Kory.
Could.
Ole Miss has their lows offensively. You know, when things are rolling, the offense is moving.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some possessions where you go 3 and out, boom, 3 and out, boom, and it slows down very quickly. Ask Ole Miss when they played Georgia, 14-14. Next thing you know, oh Lord, what's going on? It's a beatdown. Granted, Penn State is not Georgia, so I don't expect them to put up the points that Georgia was able to do to put up against them. But I mean, you got to feel like Penn State has to like open up the offense for this game. Like, you would hope they would scheme up a solid game plan. Like whatever they did against Michigan, that's still stuck in my mind. It was so bad. Like you got to redeem yourself for that performance you had against them.
Right.
So it is a weird matchup, but I definitely feel more comfortable with what Ole Miss can do offensively than Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm with you on that.
Yeah. I'm much more confident with the Rebels than Penn State. So we'll see what happens in the game. But that is the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Of course, we got number 6 Georgia taking on number 5 Florida State. Some people
Battle
calling
of the
this the
Grumpy
actual
Old
championship.
Oh man, did you see how they were looking for the press conference?
Mm-hmm.
How Kory and Mike Norvell, those boys were looking sick in the face, man. They did not want to be there.
Oh my gosh, nah. Especially Mike Norvell. Like once it came up on the screen that they weren't considered in the top 4, he just like put his head down.
Now, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, Kory.
Mm-hmm.
This is an early favorite for a Bolton's best bet. Oh boy.
What you got for me? Let's go ahead and do it.
This game could have it could eerily be similar to what Georgia did to Hawaii when Hawaii thought they were going to come up in the Sugar Bowl and get a win with Colt Brennan, and we remember how that game went.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
It wasn't pretty. And this could be just like that. This is going to be an angry Kirby Smart in a Georgia team that definitely feels like they should have been in the playoff against a Florida State team that will be angry and will put up a fight initially.
Yeah.
But I don't think they have the horses to go 4 quarters with this Georgia team. I think it might start off close, but I think this game could get ugly too.
I definitely think it can. And I think it will, unfortunately. Like, look, Florida State, they had a phenomenal season up till Jordan Travis had got injured. But now, I just don't see it in them. Like, I don't see any form of an offensive identity where I can say, like, oh man, they'll be just fine. Like, I don't see it. Like,
They're going to just
bad
throw it
right
to
now on
Keon
offense.
Coleman. Their best bet is 50-50 balls to Keon Coleman because Georgia is very confident in its secondary. They won't mind leaving their guys on an island, especially when you have the backup quarterback in. They will load the box up, put 8 in the box, I feel like. Or, just they will be playing to stop Florida State's rushing attack. Because we all know Florida State's going to try to run the ball and play ball control and just slowly but surely try to win the game like that. So there should be some one-on-one opportunities for Keon Coleman. And
should be.
And well, that's if he plays too. I don't know if he's going to play or not. I mean, you would think this is a big game, but I mean, he is someone's going to be a first-round pick. So, like, does he play?
I mean, that's the thing to think about too when you're.
We don't know what these guys are going to do.
Right.
If he ain't on the field,
why show up?
boy, if he ain't on the field, it's going to look a whole lot like Oregon and Liberty in that game.
Yeah. I can't call it, man. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens from a day-to-day standpoint. Like, you got transfer portals, news, and then you got people also declaring for the NFL draft. I'm like, like anything happen at this point. Like, I don't know.
Exactly. Oh,
So,
yeah.
so yeah, I'm looking at Georgia.
I'm looking at Georgia too. Say I had to say Georgia by they ain't released a spread for this game yet because they know. They know. Uh yeah, we'll see when this one gets released. It's, I would say right now Georgia might be 16-point favorites in this game. If I was to put out a spread right now myself, and that's with Keon Coleman playing. Keon's not playing. Georgia becomes like 18 and a half point favorites in my eyes.
Hands down, I don't think they stand a chance. Honestly, like that defense. Look, that defense will play 4 quarters for you. Like if there was anything I learned over the weekend, is that defense is legit when it matters, when it counts. But nah, that offense lost all confidence. Like, I'm taking my money out, Chris. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not putting down anything on this offense to produce points.
Exactly. And we have one more high profile game. I feel like.
I mean, what do you think about Missouri and Ohio State?
That I will be glued to my TV. I will have the pizza and the wings ready for that one.
Yeah, I think that game is fun. I think this game is going to definitely be a fun one.
I love that matchup. And initially, I tend to lean towards Missouri winning this game. That's my early take on it. I think Missouri is a more complete team, and I trust Cook more than I trust McCord. So I think Missouri has the edge quarterback wise. Ohio State definitely has some playmakers, some great receivers. We'll see if those guys play as well. You would think with it being a big time bowl game that they would play, but you never know. You never know, and we know everybody with Missouri is going to play. They've never been here before.
No,
but that is something to factor in. There is an element of this is a big spotlight and a huge moment for Missouri. Can they be overwhelmed by it? Because when you go to Ohio State, these are the games you expect to play in at the minimum, at the very least. You normally are playing in the college football playoff. So that is something else to consider. But I think when you look on paper, when you look at the teams, I think Missouri matches up very well with Ohio State. And over the course of the ball game, I could see Missouri wearing down Ohio State's defense. And it'll be up to Ohio State's offense to do what needs to be done to keep them in this ball game. But I think it'll be a very tight, very fun matchup. I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm very much ready for this game. I think Missouri definitely wants to be there. I think they're going to show.
The whole state's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole state's going to be there. Which doesn't bode well, of course, if you're Ohio State, because I don't know where the headspace is at.
Ohio State fans are going to be at home watching this. You're gonna have some fans at the game, of course, but they are not happy. They are not satisfied and not happy playing in this game. Um, but
I don't think so either.
Ryan Day's going to have his team ready though. Like, I
Yeah.
don't expect Ohio State to lay an egg.
No, I don't think they're they're not Penn State in this equation. I think they're actually going to show up with some offense. It may not be like C.J. Stroud off, esque offense, but they'll show up.
Right, right. Yeah, I think it'll be a very good game.
Mhm.
Man, we get to see Luther Burden and potentially Marvin Harrison Jr. two two of the premier receivers playing this matchup. I mean,
Hey,
sign me up.
yeah. Look, if you're an NFL scout, go to that game.
Man, exactly.
Go to that game.
You're gonna watch one guy who's going to go top 5 this year, and another guy who has a chance to be a top 15, top 20 pick
I
in
think
next
so.
year in the following draft.
Yeah, I'm confident that that will be the case. So
Yeah, yeah. So if you haven't, people are going to be introduced to Luther Burden that day. Most college football fans know about him, but there are a lot of casuals that I'm sure have, despite Missouri's success this season, haven't watched much Missouri football or haven't seen him play.
mm-hmm.
And he's gonna have some people remembering the name going into the next season. I feel like with the performance that he could potentially put together.
Mm-hmm. So can't wait. Can't wait to see a lot of these games. You got it. You got any more games you want to mention before we
Just
sign off?
honestly, show my Wildcats some love. I will be tuned in to the late night special on Thursday, December 28th, the Valero Alamo Bowl, a game that the Alamo Bowl honestly does not disappoint.
It really doesn't. I know a lot of people. I mean, UT fans and A&M fans. They always scoff at the Alamo Bowl because like they're very close by to San Antonio. So you kind of understand it, but no, that's a game that doesn't disappoint.
Does not disappoint. We will see Arizona take on Oklahoma, and I will. I'm. I think that game could go a couple of ways. I think there's a world where it's like a ridiculously high scoring game,
Mm-hmm.
like on some 45-42 kind of numbers, which would be on brand for the Alamo Bowl. And then there is a world where Arizona just straight up beats down Oklahoma. Jeff Lebby just left. He's off doing his thing, and took some guys from that staff with him to Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
So that has to be counted and factored in. So we're not sure exactly what Oklahoma offense we will be seeing that game, because it ain't going to be the one that Jeff Lebby has been calling,
Right.
because no Coach Venables, he ain't got nothing to do with the offense. He has nothing to do with that offense. He does not worry about that side of the ball. He's a defensive guy. He has let Coach Lebby do his thing and do whatever he wants to. So this will be our first time seeing a Oklahoma offense without Jeff Lebby calling the plays and running things.
Mm-hmm.
And Arizona is firing at all cylinders. sneaky blowout potential in that game for Arizona to run off with it. But I will be interested to see how that game plays out because Oklahoma does, as we both know, has offensive high firepower. So I really think that can be an extremely high scoring game between those two teams.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, I'm very much excited to see what Arizona does. Just because we saw them pretty much from the beginning of the season up till now at what they can do, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see how many points that they can put up on the scoreboard, and see if they can, show people while they are a contender
They are
for next
fourth.
season. Yeah.
I think they win this game. And in my preseason poll, I'll say right now, Kory, they will be ranked in the top 12, possibly top 8.
They got a chance.
I will lock them in. They are a lock to be a top 12 team in my preseason poll. Once we start looking ahead at how teams can potentially shape out and look next season, especially once we get some players settling in after these transfers happen.
Mm-hmm.
But am I way too soon? Top 25? Oh, they are locked to be a top 12 team.
I agree.
They bring back everything.
Yeah, like this is a young team. This team reminds you of, like, for us, like the
2013 Mississippi State team right before going into the 2014 season.
Yeah. I was actually gonna say like that second year Leach team from Mississippi State, where once Will Rogers and crew got everything together, once they figured out the air raid, the team was dangerous. You saw that year, and then the following year.
I understand. I guess I was just thinking more on the line of, like, Noah Fafita is he's the one that can win the Heisman next year, man. Like,
he very well could.
I don't think the world understands how good Arizona is. That's all I got to say about it. Noah is a freshman starting at quarterback, and he is the real deal. It's a reason Jeff Fish has pitched his camp at Arizona and isn't trying to leave. He knows what he has with this team. Michael Penix Jr. is leaving. Bo Nix is leaving. Like, Arizona's going to be very dangerous next year.
Yeah.
They bring back a quarterback that can throw it with the best of them. I want the world to know. Be ready for Arizona, man. Like, if I can if I could place a bet on Arizona to be a CFP team next season, that would not be a bad investment. It sounds crazy, but this team is legit.
No, I definitely agree. So I am picking in Arizona in this game. So I think they'll perform well. But yeah, is that all the games that you have?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, folks, we definitely appreciate y'all listening in, as always, of course. Before we head out, Chris, let the good people know where they can find you on social media.
Holla at your boy on Twitter, or I still say Twitter. See, I talk about bringing back the old college football, bring back the old Twitter. But you can follow me on at Chris_Bolton_12, and then on Instagram at Chris.Bolton_.
Awesome. Well, if you let Elon know sooner rather than later, maybe he might change his mind. I don't know. He was at that he was at that podium kind of angry for a multitude of reasons. So
When is he not angry?
I know, as always. He's always angry. But yeah, folks. You can find me on X, or Twitter, whatever you call it. Nowadays, you can find me on there at Listen to KSW, all one handle. I'm on there talking college football. We're here during college basketball season now, of course. My Mississippi State Bulldogs had a terrible weekend on the basketball court, but nonetheless. So I'm on there talking about that, wrestling. Yeah. Anything that you guys want to talk about, you can find me on there. But yeah, we will be back probably on Friday. We'll probably just talk about a couple of other games, and delve a little deeper to this list. Any transfer portal news, things like that, we'll probably definitely discuss. And yeah, we'll probably give our thoughts and predictions for the Heisman coming up this week.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, we'll have a couple of things to talk about. So yeah, keep it locked with us, guys, on the show. So until next time, we are out, and we will catch y'all later.
Peace.